What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Long Distance Friends. This week was my birthday week, and I turned 31, which is a little weird, but I've been really reflective of my 20s and just really thinking about what are the main things or big themes that I learned in my 20s, and what am I bringing into my 30s with me? And so, a little note about this episode. This is probably going to be a little preachier than normal, so buckle up if you are not here to get preached at or hear about God. You might just want to skip to the next episode because this one I'll be sharing a little bit more of my faith and some of my beliefs about God and our relationship with God. And so just wanted to give a disclaimer there. I know in my intro I talk about how we are going to be talking about faith, and that is definitely going to come through in this episode. So just wanted to give a disclaimer about that. But let's go ahead and dive right in. Number one is to find your team. So my first time I was ever on a team was when I was in middle school, and I got to work out with the high school cross country team. My brother was on the high school cross country team, and they sort of took me under their wing as their little sister. And I will never forget just how that lit me up and being a part of that community where we would show up every day and work towards that common goal. And I would get better and people would push me. And you become friends and almost even family with those people. Just how much that impacted my life and my self-esteem and gave me something to look forward to. And fast forward, after I graduated high school, I went to college and I wasn't really on a team anymore. And I really felt that hole in my life. And so when I was probably about 21 years old, I went with the missions department at my college to South Africa for 2.5 months to be a part of a missions team there. And fun fact, that's actually where I met Nate, which is really fun. But that's another story for later. But that was the first time where I got to be a part of a team again. And my sophomore year of college, I was in a dark place. I was wrestling through a lot. I had been a part of a lot of church hurt and just some existential things. And I was just in a dark place. And when I was able to spend the summer in South Africa with that team of college students, and we were going out every day to the townships or the slums in South Africa, and working with the kids there and working with the homeless. And we were all staying together at this almost like campsite or bunkhouse where we would all stay together. We would eat meals together 3 times a day. We would be studying together and praying together. And every morning, it was really funny. We would all wake up, and the rule was you had to wake up and you had to give everyone a hug. So every morning we woke up and we gave hugs. And then at night, we would all get on our knees and we'd pray before bed. And that absolutely brought me out of that dark place that I was in. And that gave me hope and it gave me purpose. And even throughout motherhood, looking back, I was in a dark place after I had my firstborn. I can see that when I was able to come out of that was when I joined SLAM, or Sweat Like a Mother. It's a group of moms who get together every morning, Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 10:30, and we work out together. And when you're not there, people are texting you, "Hey, we miss you," and you're going and you're getting stronger and you're getting better and you're pushing yourself. It's being a part of a group of people where you're all working towards a common goal. And what's even better is if you can take it a step further, and when you're not there, you're missed, or the team is not as good when you're not there, right? And so I've learned that really I need to be a part of like 1 to 2 teams. That is where, for me, that's probably my sweet spot in life. For me right now, that's my community group through church. It's a small group of families that meets together, and we pray and we go through the Bema podcast and we wrestle with questions in our faith. And we eat dinner together every week. That's my first team. My second team right now is SLAM, of course, apart from my family. But just realizing how much that really impacts my mental health. And so that is lesson number 1, is to find your team. Number 2 is to take the slow lane. So I read a book that really impacted me called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by John Mark Comer. And in this book, he talks about the cadence of Jesus and how we as humans are not meant to be living in such a way where we are constantly in a hurry or constantly in a state of stress or rushing through things. And that is so much how society is today, is to go, go, go. And so he gives a challenge in this book to take the slow lane on the highway. And so one day I did it. I was commuting back from work at the agency I worked at in Charlotte, all the way like an hour north because I was staying at my friend's house that night, and I decided to try it. And so I literally took the slow lane the whole way on that hour drive. And it was the first time I'd ever done anything like that in 12 years of driving or whatever. It was so hard. It was such a discipline to train yourself. Just because somebody is going slow or maybe even slower than the speed limit doesn't mean that I need to rush around them and try to beat them or anything like that. Like, you have to really like discipline yourself and train yourself to say, no, I'm going to stay right here, and I do not have to rush, and I do not have to go around and be faster. Really forces you to sit back in your seat in your car and take notice of the sunset or the music, or just taking a deep breath and saying, it's okay to be here right now. I am here and I am present and I am enjoying this for what it is. There's a really great short video that you can look up called This is Water. And it's all about how this is your life right in front of you. And a lot of times we as humans don't realize that this is life. The minutes and moments that make up driving to and from work and standing in line at the grocery store or running your errands or whatever it is you do throughout the day. These are the moments that make up your life, and how I think and I think really those two things of forcing myself to take the slow lane or drive the speed limit. And if I'm in any kind of line, I really try to will myself to just keep my phone in my pocket and just look around and look people in the eyes. And it just is a discipline to stay present and to remember that these are the moments that make up my life, and not to miss them and not to be distracted or on my phone during those moments. The third is to embrace your humanness. So this sort of goes along with the previous one, but this is also inspired by another book I read that really changed my life that was called To Hell with the Hustle by Jefferson Bethke. This is all about how, as a human, we are not meant to be beings of constant productivity. We are created with limitations. We're created with the need to eat nutritious food and get a full night's sleep, and even going to the bathroom. All of the things that make up a human, if you look at the human body, while the human body is incredible and amazing and all these things, it's also not the most productive. Like, if you look at the span of a human, we spend years and years and years just sleeping. It's not like we're awake all of the time to do and be and produce. We literally spend years of our life just asleep. And it's just remembering that there's something so intimate about knowing that I am not and I cannot be all things to all people. And it is truly the kindness of God that I have limitations, and there's just an intimacy in resting in the fact that at the end of the day, I am just a speck of dust in the light of all of human history. And yet God invites me in this sacred journey with him to delight in him and to receive his love to my core, and then to spread that to other people and to make a difference. It's just truly his kindness. Okay, this is a really good segue to point number 4, which is to have a relationship with your body. When I was working at the marketing agency I worked at, I would go in every day and sit at my desk and work for 8 or 9 hours and drink coffee all day long, sometimes not even eat all day. And then I'd come home, I'd have a massive dinner, I'd have a glass of wine, I'd go to sleep, and I'd wake up and I'd do it all over again. And I got to a point in my life where I was really unhealthy. And my wake up call for me was my mom and I share our Apple Watch workouts and stuff like that. And I saw that my mom was standing and moving more than me as a 25-year-old woman. And I was like, wow, my mom is getting in more movement than me. And for whatever reason, that was my wake up call. And I decided to do the 75 hard challenge, which I actually don't advise. But for me, I just felt like at the time that I needed to almost like, you know how when you get an injury, you almost have to break the bones and reset them so that they can heal properly. It's almost like I needed to completely break my way of life for a set period of time so that I could rebuild. I needed to like strip everything down and away from my life so that I could rebuild a healthier life. And that's what the 75 hard challenge offered me. So part of the challenge is to do 2 45-minute workouts a day, every single day for 75 days, along with other requirements like sticking to a diet and drinking more water and things like that. But for me, I realized in order to actually stick to the challenge and make it through the whole 75 days, I needed to do really low impact workouts. So really what ended up happening is I ended up walking and doing yoga every single day. And I just fell in love with moving my body and walking and yoga and how I felt eating better and healthier, more nutritious foods. And my mental clarity was better. And I had really bad acne when I started the challenge from all of the stress and the caffeine. And at the end of the challenge, after drinking all of the water and eating better, my acne was completely cleared and healed. So that was a perk. But I learned to fall in love with movement. And at the end of this challenge, I had this epiphany where I really didn't know how to articulate it, but I felt as if there were 2 avenues to the way that you thought about your body. Either it was, I don't care about my body, or my body doesn't matter to me, which I couldn't honestly say that. I do care about how I look, right? Like that does matter to me. I can sit here and pretend I don't, but I do. Or there was the other side where I just saw people becoming obsessed with their bodies and going to the gym every single day. And it's like their body and their fitness became their whole personality. And I couldn't really get into that either. And I was like, I really don't know how those people that I see are motivated unless it is by a motivation of hating their body or the fear of being out of shape or the fear of what would happen to them if they did become out of shape. It just felt like that was really unsustainable, and the only way that those kind of people that I could tell were doing those things were just by motivations that were not healthy. And so I really did not find a camp or a way to think about my body with those 2 sort of ideologies surrounding me. And it was at the end of this challenge where I realized I don't have to not care about my body or to think about my body as something that doesn't matter. And I also don't have to be obsessed with my body or be fear motivated or hate motivated. I can just simply have a relationship with my body, a loving relationship. I can come into a relationship with my body where I listen to my body and I do things for my body, and I'm not just ignoring my body, but I am helping my body. And in turn of me helping my body and eating nutritious foods and moving my body and doing what it needs and loves, that also gives something to me back that that helps my soul and my spirit and my mind. Two books that really helped me with this was Breaking Free from Body Shame by Jess Connolly and Intuitive Eating by Elyse, Resch, and Evelyn Tribole. Highly recommend those books. So I really just realized I just need to have a relationship with my body. And so I'm going to end this podcast with a letter that I wrote to my body that I wanted to share with you guys. I hope it resonates you, especially if you're a woman. This is just so tricky. I'm sure this will be something that I'll be working through the rest of my life, but I really hope to be a good example to my daughter in this, and to continue this beautiful relationship that we get to have with our bodies. And so here it is. Dear body, a lot of things are on my heart. I'm so fascinated that you and I are so intertwined, that when we take care of ourselves, it not only does something to you, but to me. I'm in awe that you are a temple that God chose to dwell in us and in our spirit. I'm so grateful that I can choose to accept and love you the way that you are. And with that, I'm challenged that love is a verb. And in order to love, I must not ignore you. I must engage you. And if I truly love you, I cannot control you. I've spent the first 26 years of our life controlling how you appear, using you to receive approval. And I'm so sorry. I'm challenged to spend our remaining years in this life learning to stop viewing you as a project and start viewing you as a partner. You are not me, but you are a vehicle of me, and yet you're not just reduced to a bag of skin. You were purposefully chosen just for me, knit together bone by bone, building your heartbeat and growing strong. You are so intertwined with who I am, and for the remaining years of our life, I commit to truly loving you. With all my heart, Anna. So those are the 4 big things that I'm taking from my 20s: to find your team, to take the slow lane, embrace your humanness, and to have a relationship with your body. All right, guys, thanks for listening. I hope you got something from that. If you loved this, please share it with a friend. Make sure you're subscribed to the show, and we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.